Hey, listen. Is it really true that you guys received $5 million from your husband's parents after they passed away?
What?
Oh, I guess I meant that Dave got $5 million from his parents' will, right? Man, but really, who would have thought that his parents had that kind of money just sitting around all the way until their passing? So I wonder why I ended up divorcing a man like him now. Had I known about all that cash, then I never would have left him.
I'm sorry, but who is this?
Oh, I'm sorry for getting so carried away there. I am Dave's ex-wife, Gloria. And you should be Summer, right? You and him got married around 10 years ago, correct?
That's true. But how come you know my phone number? And how do you know about my husband's money that he just received?
There is nothing in this world I don't know about. And one of those things that I started to know about recently was that my ex got married again. I don't get it, though, considering he told me that he'd love me forever and ever. Well, this is probably another reason why I chose to divorce him back then.
Well, when you stab someone in the back and then divorce them, they tend to stop loving you anymore.
Huh?
I've heard quite a bit about you myself from Dave. You just got up and vanished one day out of Dave's sight without ever telling him, right? There was another man you ran off with, right? And that's why you left him with a stack of divorce papers on the counter that you had already gone through and filled out. That's all I've heard from Dave about what happened then.
Oh my, so you do know about what happened between us. Well, since you seem to know so much about me as well, that'll help us move this conversation along. There is actually a very good reason for why I'm contacting you today. I'm sorry to ask this, but can you please go tell Dave that he needs to hand me all that money he got from his parents?
What? You want me to tell him that he needs to give you that $5 million?
Yes, that's right. And the reason I ask that is because I'm his ex-wife. I also have a right to that money.
Huh?
I've been trying to contact Dave about this time after time already. But ever since the divorce, he's been ignoring me completely. That's why I had no other choice but to look up his wife's contact info and reach out to her. Therefore, can I ask you to please send him that message I've told you?
Hold on for one moment. Why do you think you have any right to that money he inherited from his parents?
Because I have the right. I mean, back when I was married to him, I had to live together with his parents at their house.
Huh?
Back when living with his parents every day was so hard for me. As his wife, I was forced to do all the chores there. I had to cook for everyone and clean for everyone. Literally anything his parents and him didn't want to do was given to me. But because of all that work I put in, you can say that I was a better caretaker for both his parents than Dave was, right? That's why, as a thank you for all that time and effort I sacrificed, I should be given at least a percentage of that inheritance.
As a thank you?
I have heard from many people before that as someone who took care of them while they were growing older and older, I have a right to some of their things. So considering that I put in all that work for those two, shouldn't I get something in return now? At the very least. I think $100,000 would be enough to satisfy me.
$100,000 at the very least?
It was so hard having to live with his parents. You should be able to understand where I'm coming from here since you're his current wife. Don't you think that's a fair amount to be asking for right now?
Not at all. The only thing I'm thinking right now is when is this clown going to shut up? I have heard all about the time you had to live with his parents alongside him, and as far as I can tell, what you got in the end is what you deserve. Wasn't the reason for you having to live with them in the first place the fact that you went and used up all of Dave's money that was meant for a new house on yourself? And so as punishment for that, he had you and himself move back in with his parents and made sure they worked you enough to make up for all that money of his.
What? Dave's even gone and told you all about that part as well?
From what all I've been told, you were forcing Dave to work and bring in all his money for your sake. He had even tried to ask you to take some time off from doing the chores if you wanted, as long as you got a part-time job or something to help bring in money for your spending. Yet you never listened to him and just continued to use him as though he was your wallet or something.
That was...
He told me that every time he'd confront you, all you'd reply with is saying that you only wanted to do the most simple chores in the house. Therefore, there was never a moment where you went and helped Dave earn more money for the house by getting a part-time job. And then, when you started to get upset with his parents for working you all the time in their home, you would leave at night to go mess around with another man. So, can you tell me again, Gloria, what part of that is a good enough reason for you getting any bit of that inheritance he got from his parents?
You're a real annoyance, aren't you? Just because you're his freaking wife does not mean you get to talk to me like that. You're the one that ended up marrying my leftovers. So do you really think that someone in your position can talk to me like that right now? Excuse me? I want to talk to Dave about all this, so shut the hell up and go let him know I need to talk. Stop trying to get in my freaking way when all I'm asking for is $100,000 from him.
I wasn't trying to get in the way of you or Dave, to be fair.
Well, then you shut up and do as I asked. Now you go and let Dave know what I've said. You're going to tell him all the details, right? I'm so sorry, Summer. But it looks like I'll be getting that $5 million from Dave after all.
Excuse me?
But this is all because of you as well, right? You went ahead and told him what I was asking for me. You are much like Dave's and my Cupid right now.
I'm not really sure what all you're talking about right now, so could you please walk me through again what happened?
Actually, just a little while ago, I got in touch with Dave again. I thought he was calling me to say that he'd be sending me some money soon, but instead he actually asked to come and see me in person. He said he had some really important stuff he wanted to talk to me about. And considering it had been so long since we last saw one another, he asked if we could talk over lunch or dinner. This has to be him trying to get back with me, right? He's going to come with all that money he inherited and propose to me again like he did so long ago.
I'm not sure that's what's going to happen at all. I'm sure you just have the wrong idea here, so could you please keep all of that to yourself from now on?
Wait, how is any of this the wrong idea? I happen to be prettier than you and use all kinds of higher-end cosmetics than you. I know for a fact that he's going to want to get back with me, and that's why he's coming out to talk with me in person.
Huh?
And another thing with Dave. For the longest time now, he's been ignoring me, right? But when I sent him a picture of myself looking my very best, he started to reply to me again like things had never changed. And that's when he told me he has something he wants to talk about, so we'll meet in public to have that talk.
You sent him a picture of yourself? You would really do something like that to someone else's husband?
Well, starting really soon, he's going to be coming back to me, so what's the big deal? I am so looking forward to the dinner we'll be having soon. I think I'll wear a really nice dress today to prepare for that proposal he has for me. Oh, but there's also a chance that tonight we'll be staying out at some hotel, so I need to be ready for that. I'll make sure to get myself all prepared for that as well now, too.
Would you cut all that out right now? Dave is not going out to see you with the intent of getting back together.
I understand that you want to think something like that, but Dave is back to being focused on me again. That's why after so many years of ignoring me, he's finally stopped trying to evade me and is coming right back. You're going to be tossed aside in only a couple more hours, so you'd better get yourself ready for that divorce.
What?
I need to get a head start on filling out all the papers for our marriage now as well then. He's already putting in all the work to finally come back to me tonight, so the least I could do is get that paperwork already. And then both Dave and all that inheritance will be mine.
Dave's parents are still alive, you know.
What?
I can't do this anymore. There's no way I can ask Dave to go and meet with someone as mentally unstable as you now. So in order to keep him away from you, I'll tell you everything you need to know right now. All of the things you have been confused about this whole time.
Confused about what? By the way, what the hell are you talking about by saying his parents are still alive? Dave just got $5 million as an inheritance from them. If his parents hadn't died, then how would he have been able to get that kind of money from them?
You are partially correct. Dave did in fact get $5 million as inheritance. But whoever told you that that money came from his parents?
Huh? Just by hearing that, wouldn't it normally be the case that he got the money from his dead parents? Let me ask you this, actually. If it wasn't from his parents that he got that inheritance, Then who the hell did it come from?
From your parents, Gloria.
Huh? From mine?
Yes, that's right. Your parents went ahead and gave Dave $5 million after they passed away. It was written in their will that he get that amount of money, so there was no way we could say no to it. The lawyer told us when handing over the money that your parents wanted him to have the money as a way of saying sorry for their terrible daughter, and that even though he wasn't related to them by blood or anything, he was still like a son to them. So that's what ended up happening.
Huh? No way in hell that happened! Stop trying to lie about something as serious as that!
I'm just telling you the truth is all.
How is any of that the truth? My family is just your average family, and neither of my parents would have ever had $5 million just sitting around. And hold on, they aren't even dead yet. So tell me, when did they actually die, and what would have made them give their daughter's ex all of that money? I have no idea what you're going on about right now, and I might consider you more mentally unstable than myself now.
I'm sure to you both your parents may have seemed like any other family, but in reality those two were very good at saving up money. And I'm really sorry to have to break it to you this way, but your parents are long gone.
What? You're really going to continue telling me that sick joke?
This must mean you had no idea what happened then. That's why Dave wanted to meet with you in person. And actually, it was me that convinced him to go out and talk with you in person about all the important details. And, well, that all happened around the same time you sent him that picture of yourself to try and get him to talk. Dave has never ever thought about getting back together with you, and to be honest, he doesn't even really want to see you in person.
Wait a second. It's not that I don't understand you, but rather I'm totally blanking on what's happening right now. What do you even mean when you say that my parents passed away?
Later on, you can listen to what Dave has to tell you when it comes to your parents passing. And when that time comes, you will listen to him in a serious manner and will stop trying to talk about getting back together again, right? Now, I need to get going.
Give me back my inheritance! That $5 million should be going to me! Why do I have to sit here and let that money go to my ex and his wife now?
You already heard about everything from Dave yesterday, right? You never answered any of your family's calls or texts, and so this is what you get for completely ignoring all of them.
Shut the hell up! I'm going to go over there and steal all that money back right now. I'll make sure all $5 million are back in my hands. What? I never actually knew my own parents had all that money saved up before their deaths. I could have sworn they didn't have much money at all, and they never once lived like celebrities or anything like that while I was around. And how was I even supposed to know my dad got into an accident and died, and that my mom became sick a year later and passed from that? How the hell could they just give Dave all their money just because I didn't answer some stupid phone calls? I will not let this happen to me.
If you have some complaints about how things turned out, why don't you go and tell that to their gravestones? They were the ones that chose to give Dave this money, so you have to talk to them.
Shut up! I'm tired of talking about this with you, so get that god-dang money together and wait for me to come over and get it. I'll be bringing a lawyer along with me who knows all about that kind of stuff as well, so you won't be able to say a single thing. I'll make sure that $5 million all comes back to me.
I guess there's really no other option now. You are more than welcome to come here with that lawyer of yours. But know that the moment you step foot on our property, you will be owing my husband $50,000. So if you don't want to pay that, stay the hell away from us. After my last text, I never heard from her again. I told Dave what she'd been saying, just in case, but he wasn't worried. He already got $5 million and didn't care about the $50,000 from her. In fact, he said my remark about it might have been just enough to keep her out of our lives for good. As for Gloria, she started lying to loan sharks, claiming her husband had $5 million coming in and used that to borrow large amounts of money. But once they realized it was a lie, things took a dark turn. She began struggling to outrun them, and recently we heard that some of the people she borrowed from were far more dangerous than she expected. Word is she's no longer in the U.S., likely forced to flee to escape the mess she created. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Capri? I just got a call from the staff saying you haven't shown up at the venue yet. Is something wrong? I've already arrived at the venue and started getting ready for the wedding. Hey, Capri!
Ah, Stan.
Capri! Where the hell are you? If you don't get here soon, we're gonna miss the ceremony. If you want, I can come pick you up.
Oh, no need to come pick me up.
Can you get here on your own?
No, I'm not coming.
What?
The wedding's off.
What? Wait, what the hell are you talking about? Are you seriously saying that on the day of the wedding? Do you really think you can just cancel everything now?
Yeah, I think I can.
What?
I'm talking about something that happened at a friend's wedding before.
Are you talking about Kate's wedding from 2 years ago?
Ah, right, you were invited on the groom's side, weren't you? So I guess you understand that it's possible to cancel under certain circumstances.
No, that happened because the groom got into a car accident on the morning of the wedding, and there was no way to have the ceremony after that. What you're doing is just a last-minute cancellation.
But the fact that we can't go to the venue is the same, right? So please, go ahead and cancel everything.
So what's the reason you can't come to the venue? You need to explain it to the guests and everyone involved properly.
Well, you see, last night I had a fateful encounter.
Fateful?
The man I met last night is rich.
What?
I was having a drink alone at a bar, just trying to make the most of my last night as a single woman, and this really charming guy approached me. We started talking, and, well, we just hit it off. Before we knew it, we were so drunk that we decided it didn't matter if I canceled the wedding. We ended up spending the night at his place.
What?
Right now we're toasting with wine, celebrating our future together.
No! Do you even realize what you're doing?
Of course I do. That's why I'm saying I'm calling off the wedding with you.
Are you out of your mind?
Because you're just a poor guy from a single mother household, aren't you?
What?
If I'm going to get married, I'd rather marry someone rich. I've learned not to choose my partner just based on looks. This guy, he runs a big company. I'm so glad I met him before I ended up marrying a poor guy from a single mother household. So I'm going to marry him.
No, my family's not that poor. My mom has a lot of qualifications and a well-paying job.
But compared to my guy, you're definitely poorer.
How the hell is that even possible?
This is a decision I'm making, so I won't regret it. So please, just accept it and move on.
This isn't something that can just be settled that easily? And to say all of this with this timing?
It can't be helped. I met him last night, after all.
Anyway, just come over here.
I already told you the wedding is canceled. It's pointless to hold on to any hope for me.
That's not what this is about. Canceling the wedding will cause a lot of trouble for everyone involved. If you're doing this, you need to apologize properly. And there's also the cancellation fee for the venue.
Yeah, you can take care of all that on your end.
Hey, you have to take responsibility.
Well, it's because you're poor that I decided to call off the wedding. So I don't have any responsibility in this matter.
That's not how it works.
Whatever. I'm having a great time with him right now, celebrating our amazing night together. So I'm going to end this message here.
Answer the phone!
Stan, good evening. I've looked into the matter your mother asked me to investigate.
Good evening, Miranda. I'm sorry to have put you through this when you're so busy and for making it a priority.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's a big deal for the son of my best friend.
Thank you so much.
I'll send you the full report later, but let me give you a rough explanation now.
Yes, please.
First of all, Capri's affair. Well, this really surprised me, too.
Who was it?
It was Mike.
What? Mike? Wait, you mean that Mike?
Yes, that one. Actually, Capri's currently staying at his apartment in the neighboring city, S City. Their meeting was purely by chance, but anyway, it looks like she's been cutting off all contact with her family and anyone in the local area. I think she's just waiting for the heat from the wedding cancellation to die down.
Seriously?
Capri didn't know that he was the guy at the time, did she?
No, she didn't. She didn't seem to care at all about what happened to her friend's fiancé. Afterward, she became distant from that friend, so she probably never found out his name, let alone anything more.
I see. Well, I'll be delivering the investigation report tomorrow morning, so it'll be in your hands then.
Understood. Thank you again. Hey, Capri, I need to talk to you. I see you've read my message.
Ugh, what now? We broke up, so stop contacting me. I'm starting a new life with my boyfriend now.
You're free to start something new, but before that, you need to settle things.
Settle things?
Check the mailbox in your apartment.
What? What is this? And how did you even find out where I am?
I have a contact who works at a private investigation agency through my mother. I had them look into things, and they managed to track you down.
What? And what is this amount? Why do I have to pay $60,000?
It's for the wedding cancellation fee, the honeymoon cancellation fee, and compensation for the broken engagement. I'll be asking both you and your affair partner to cover this. The total amount comes to $60,000.
What? Why do I have to pay? I told Banda to handle the cancellation. You should be the one paying. And what's with the we? We're not even married yet. You can't force me to pay like this.
Are you serious? Are you actually stupid?
Huh?
Yeah, you must be. You really don't get it, do you?
What?
Let me break this down for you. In this case, it's not about who handled the cancellation. The person who caused the cancellation is responsible for covering the full amount.
Wait, so you're saying that even if I didn't handle it directly, it's still my responsibility?
Exactly. You may have handed over the task to someone else, but the root cause is you because you broke everything off. That means you're liable for all these expenses.
Wait, what? But what about the fact that we didn't even get married? We didn't even make it to the altar.
I know you think you can just brush it off, but you're wrong. You see, even during an engagement, compensation can be required. You don't just walk away without consequences.
Really?
Yes, really. You don't get to back out of this because you think you're off the hook because the wedding never happened. Engagements are serious, and when someone calls one off, there are financial and emotional consequences that have to be dealt with. The papers I sent you were drafted by a lawyer. I had them work on it specifically to avoid confusion, so you can be sure there's no mistake about it.
A lawyer?
Yes, I didn't want to risk miscommunication, so I had a lawyer handle it. The paperwork is all in order, and now it's time for you to take responsibility. I need $60,000 in one lump sum. Once you pay it, you're free to go. But until then, this is something you'll have to deal with.
Oh, really? Well, whatever. $60,000 is a drop in the bucket for my rich boyfriend. I'll just have him pay it. He'll get it done in no time.
Wait, that rich boyfriend of yours, you mean Mike, right?
Yeah, of course. If you hired a private investigator and looked into things, you must know already. You must be so jealous that I'm not stuck with a poor guy like you.
Well, you're in for a surprise. That rich boyfriend of yours is actually sitting on a huge pile of debt.
Huh? What are you talking about? Mike owns a company. He makes $150,000 a year. There's no way he's in debt.
That may have been true 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. And you know what happened around that time, right?
Huh? Why are you bringing that up?
It was around the time of Kate's wedding. You remember Kate, right? She married the guy who was supposed to be the groom, but he ended up in a huge accident that day.
Oh yeah, the groom who got into the traffic accident and ended up in the hospital for months, right? Even after he healed, he couldn't go back to work because of the rehab. Kate has really weird tastes, doesn't she? Marrying a guy with no future, no prospects.
I know you're enjoying making fun of it, but let's get back to the actual point here.
Okay, just make it quick.
Mike's story connects to this. It all leads back to him.
How?
You know what happened? Mike was the one who caused that traffic accident.
Huh?
Yes, Mike was responsible. The accident was entirely his fault, 100%. He paid for all the settlement and medical fees right away in one lump sum, but that's just the beginning.
Oh, well, that's easy for someone like him, right? A guy with that kind of money can pay it all off in one go, no problem.
Well, don't get too comfortable because there's more to this story. The real trouble started after the accident.
What do you mean?
This is when things started to fall apart for Mike. The accident severely damaged his business's reputation. He lost credibility, and his company's standing took a massive hit.
So he lost his business?
Yeah, he went bankrupt a year later, all because of the fallout from the accident.
Bankrupt?
Yes, he didn't just lose his business, but he also ended up buried in debt. In order to cover that, he ended up taking out a loan of $2 million. The money wasn't coming from a single source. It was spread across various creditors, and it's likely he had to borrow from some unsavory places to get the amount he needed.
No way. Wait, so Mike...
Yeah, that's right. The guy you're so proud of, your rich boyfriend. Turns out he's deep in debt. And don't forget, he's also got a criminal record now because of that accident.
What? I was totally fooled.
Well, that's your problem, not mine, but I'm just telling you the truth.
What? Aren't you going to help me?
Why would I? You're on your own now. You made your choice when you dumped me, remember?
But I'm your fiancé. It's your duty to save me from this.
You broke off the engagement, so there's no saving to be done here.
I'll cancel it for you. I'll take it all back, I promise.
No need to do that. It's too late now.
Then, the $60,000?
I'll take care of that, don't worry. Make sure you get it done, though. It's time for you to settle up. A few days later, $60,000 from Capri was transferred into my account. I didn't expect it. Honestly, after everything that had happened, I thought there would be no way for her to come up with that kind of money. But there it was, the sum sitting in my bank account, a reminder of a past I was trying to put behind me. The money came as a surprise, but what really struck me was the way it arrived. The way Capri had managed to gather such a large amount after everything that had transpired between us. It wasn't without a bit of context, though. Capri's parents, as I learned much later, had decided not to support her financially after she canceled the wedding. The fact that she'd backed out at the last minute and essentially wrecked the plans we'd made together was something they couldn't forgive. From their perspective, the decision was her mistake alone, and they made it clear that they wouldn't step in to clean up the mess she'd made. They were firm about it. They weren't going to help her, not emotionally, and certainly not financially. As it turned out, Capri had reached out to them when things started falling apart, desperately hoping they would come to her aid, but they refused. And it wasn't just about the wedding, it was everything that had happened after. The lies, the broken promises, the way she handled the mess. Capri had alienated so many people, and when she finally needed support, no one was there to give it. I couldn't help but think about Mike, her ex-boyfriend, the one she was still in contact with, who'd also managed to get himself into a financial hole. I had a feeling Capri's method of getting the money wasn't all that different from his. She probably borrowed from the same shady places he had, taking on more debt and taking risks just to scrape together enough cash to cover her obligations. It wasn't a clean method, and it wasn't the right way to handle things, but it seemed to be the only option available to her at the time. I didn't know the specifics of how she got the money, but I had my suspicions. Capri wasn't someone who played by the rules when things got tough. She was resourceful, but in the worst way possible, always finding shortcuts that led her further into a corner, always relying on her charm and manipulation to get what she wanted. I wouldn't put it past her to use whatever means necessary to get the cash, even if it meant making deals with people who didn't have the best intentions. The next part of the story came from a message delivered to me through my lawyer. It seemed like Capri, despite everything that had happened, still wanted to reach out to me. She wasn't directly contacting me, though. Instead, she had sent a message through the lawyer I had worked with during our brief separation. The message was clear. She was asking for advice, or at least some kind of acknowledgement from me, but I wasn't about to give her any more of my time. According to what I was told, Capri had managed to secure a live-in job through the people she had borrowed money from. The details were sketchy, but it seemed that she was working for someone who had offered her a place to stay in exchange for labor. It wasn't exactly a glamorous position, and from what I gathered, it was the kind of job you wouldn't want to talk about at family gatherings. The type of work that left you feeling ashamed to even admit what you were doing to survive. I'm sure it wasn't something Capri was proud of, but it sounded like she had no other choice. It wasn't a job with any dignity, but she had to make do with whatever options were left available to her. Of course, I couldn't feel sorry for her. I wasn't going to waste any more of my energy on someone who had done nothing but betray my trust and ruin everything I had worked for. I wasn't her savior. I wasn't responsible for fixing her mistakes, and I had no desire to get involved any further. The money she sent me didn't change anything. Nothing could undo the damage that had been done, and nothing could make me want to help her again. I instructed my lawyer to reply to Capri, making it very clear that I had no sympathy for her situation. I told him to remind her of the simple truth: this was all her fault. She had made the choices that led her to this point, and now she had to deal with the consequences. You brought this upon yourself. It seemed fitting, considering everything that had happened. I wasn't interested in trying to help someone who had shown no interest in helping themselves when it mattered. I didn't hear from Capri again after that, and I suppose that's for the best. She had made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. If she wanted to turn things around, she would have to do it on her own. The money was gone, the wedding was canceled, and whatever future we might have had was a distant memory. It was time for both of us to move on. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Millie, hey! Thanks for the other day. I really appreciate you coming to the wedding.
Why are you laughing as you say that?
Because I couldn't stop laughing at how socially awkward you still are.
I made a conscious effort to be respectful, both in how I dressed and how I carried myself. After all, I am the bride's sister.
Sure, I'll give you that. You did your best to blend into the shadows like usual. I mean, it's not like you could draw attention if you tried. You've always been invisible. So I guess you were just being your usual awkward self.
Was there an actual reason you contacted me? Storm, I think you're forgetting something. We're practically estranged, you know. I only went to the ceremony out of obligation, for Dad's sake. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather you not contact me at all.
Oh, really? You sure you want to say that?
What now?
I overheard Mom and Dad talking at the reception, you know. You're living in some bottom-of-the-barrel poverty situation, right? They said you're making, $10,000 a year? That's like $800 a month. How are you even surviving on that living alone? You must be in some real dump of an apartment.
Wait, $10,000 a year? Where did that number even come from?
Like I said, I overheard them talking.
I seriously don't recall them saying that.
10 grand a year is practically NEET levels, sis. Meanwhile, look at me. I've married a rich guy who works at a major company, and I'm living the dream as a full-time housewife. I don't have to work and still get to enjoy the luxurious life. Actually, you know what? Want me to give you some money?
What?
My husband's loaded. Covering the cost of a few basics so you can live like a human being isn't going to break our bank.
I don't want your money.
Don't be so proud. You can't possibly live on $800 a month. You're probably up to your eyeballs in debt just to keep the lights on. Sad little debt-ridden pauper. I'm giving you a lifeline here. Take it.
No thanks. Doing anything you say is guaranteed to make my life worse.
Oh, that's how you want to play it?
Also, for your information, I'm not in debt, so you can relax.
Are you sure about that?
Think what you like. We're not in touch anyway, so I honestly don't care what you assume.
Ugh, you've always been so stubborn and hard to like.
Then it's good I'm not trying to be likable.
But deep down,
what now?
be honest.
About what?
You want the money, right?
I already said no.
Well then, to my difficult little sister who can't admit when she's in need, I have a fantastic proposal for you.
I don't need any proposals.
Introduce me to a guy.
What? Are you serious? Storm, you just got married. I know you've always had a thing for fooling around, but that's over now. You're married.
Yeah, but my husband's such a boring, straight-laced guy, and he's so bland in bed. I'm bored to death. No excitement. I'm dying here.
Didn't you get married knowing full well what kind of person he is?
I was fooled by the looks and the paycheck, okay? So come on, hook me up with someone.
Even if I wanted to,
Just one guy, that's all I'm asking.
You're being absolutely ridiculous.
Come on, and make sure he's hot.
I'm not doing this.
Why not?
Because I'm not about to help you cheat on your husband.
It's just for fun. It's not my fault he can't satisfy me. He's the problem.
Listen, that kind of stuff might sound casual to you, but the consequences, they're not. Whether you're single or married makes a huge difference when it comes to affairs. Get your act together.
Ugh, you sound so self-righteous. Living on your own for 10 years turned you into some arrogant little know-it-all, huh? You were always a brat, but now it's worse.
Say whatever you want. This conversation is over.
Millie! Come on, answer me already. Millie, you there? Hello?
What? I'm at work now, you know.
You're calling that work? Girl, please. You're barely scraping together $800 a month, and you've got the nerve to sound all busy and important.
There's no such thing as a bottom-tier job. Work is work. And coming from you, the woman who spent every waking moment chasing guys until she finally landed a husband, you've got zero room to talk. Also, just FYI, I'm earning more than $800 now.
Oh, really? So what, did my jab about you being poor sting enough to make you hustle for once? What now? You made $900 this month instead? Wow, how impressive. You're rolling in it, huh?
You're seriously just sitting around talking to yourself, huh? Making jokes, laughing at them, then replying like anyone's entertained? You must be so bored. Anyway, I'm done with this.
Okay, fine. But what if I said, I took your man?
What are you talking about? My man?
Yeah. Some guy walked out of that shabby little apartment building you live in, and I just knew he had to be yours. So I went and got a little friendly with him. I hope you don't mind.
I'm sorry, what? First of all, my apartment isn't nearly as terrible as you make it sound. And second, it's got pretty tight security. Are you sure you're not confusing me with someone else?
Tisk tisk, no need to pretend, sis. He told me himself you two were involved, and I gotta say, he was pretty great. Good-looking, fun, knew how to handle things in bed. Exactly the kind of thrill I've been craving. Way more exciting than my straight-laced husband, that's for sure.
Wait, are you telling me you actually slept with someone you think I'm dating?
Relax, what's the big deal? You're my sister. So we shared a guy for a bit. No harm done, right?
That is completely insane. I have no idea what guy you're even talking about.
Oh, come on, don't play dumb. He said you were struggling financially too, so I figured why not help out? I handed him $30,000.
You what?
Mm-hmm. And since you were kind enough to introduce me to such a lovely guy, I figured I'd return the favor. Check your mailbox. There's $20,000 in there just for you, my way of saying thanks for the referral.
You've got to be kidding me. You put $20,000 in my mailbox?
Yup, so generous, right? Anyway, just wanted to let you know I'll be keeping your man now. He and I really hit it off.
You are unbelievable.
Oh, and just so we're clear, if you go crying to my husband about any of this, I will be asking for that money back. So think carefully before you do anything stupid. Bye! Millie, what the hell do you think you're doing? Answer your damn phone.
What?
What? That's all you have to say? Don't give me that tone. I gave you the money, didn't I? The damn thank you money. Why the hell would you go rat me out to my husband?
Oh, so he found out about your little affair, huh?
No crap he did, and now I want my $20,000 back. You told him, Millie, that was the deal. No snitching.
Yeah, but see, I didn't tell him anything.
What the hell are you talking about?
He came to me and asked for advice, that's it.
Wait, he came to you? My husband went to you?
Yeah, he said he wanted to talk about your cheating.
What the actual hell? Why would he confide in you? You're just some broken bottom-of-the-barrel wannabe.
Right, except I'm a licensed attorney with an annual income of $100,000.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me.
You're a lawyer?
Mm-hmm, and your husband knows that, which is probably why he felt safe confiding in me. He told me he wants to move forward with a divorce.
No, this can't be real.
I didn't take his case, obviously, conflict of interest, but I did refer him to someone more suitable. Looks like everything's finally in motion.
Hold on! What the hell were Mom and Dad talking about when they said you were only making $10,000 a year?
I asked them about that too. They think they must have misheard me when I said my husband's monthly income was $10,000. They probably assume I meant yearly.
Wait, so your husband makes $10,000 a month?
Yeah, so his annual salary is about $120,000. He owns his own business.
He what? Your husband?
My husband, yes.
Are you telling me you're married?
Have been for 3 years now. We met through a colleague of mine. He's the legal advisor for my husband's company. We got married not long after. We even have a kid.
3 years?
Yeah. I just never told you because, well, dealing with your jealousy and drama isn't exactly how I'd like to spend my time.
Wait. So that guy, the one I saw leaving the apartment, that wasn't your man?
Storm, how exactly did you get that apartment address again?
You sent us a New Year's card once. It had your address on it. That's how I found the place. And then I saw some guy walk out of there and I thought...
Oh, I see. That was probably the address from before we got married. My husband and I used to live there before we moved into our house. I must have sent that card during our engagement, right before we relocated.
Hold up, are you telling me that guy, the one I slept with, he wasn't even your man?
He was probably the new tenant, the one who moved in after we left.
No, wait a second. So then the $20,000 I stuffed into the mailbox...
No idea who got that money. Wasn't me.
You're lying. You had to have taken it. I was planning to use it as leverage to cover my damages if I ended up divorced.
Right. Well, according to your husband, that was his money to begin with. So even if you had gotten it back, it wouldn't count toward any damages. It'd just be returning what you stole.
Oh, God, no. No. What do I do? $50,000 is gone. I don't have that kind of money.
And that's not even the worst of it.
What now?
The $50,000 is just what you have to repay. It's not counting the compensation your husband could be suing for. That's additional.
You're saying $50,000 isn't even enough?
Exactly. He could demand more, depending on the emotional distress, the damage to his reputation, breach of trust, all that.
I'm screwed.
Also, just so you know, Mom and Dad aren't going to help you.
What?
They told me flat out. They're not lifting a finger for you. They said if you blew through $50,000 and wrecked your own marriage, then you can dig yourself out on your own.
No, this can't be happening. Millie, please help me. Be my lawyer, I'm begging you.
What?
You're a lawyer, right? Just work my case for free, okay? If you can just get the refund dismissed or have the damages reduced, I'll owe you forever.
No.
What do you mean, no? You're my sister. You can't just abandon me like this.
Being your sister doesn't mean I'm obligated to clean up your messes. And besides, what you're asking is impossible. Even lawyers have limits. We can't magically erase wrongdoing just because you regret it now.
You are heartless.
No, I'm just done letting you drag me into your schemes. I told you, don't involve me. You didn't listen.
Millie, please just wait. Don't leave me. Wait, please, don't leave me like this.
First, about the $20,000 that I had tossed into the apartment mailbox, it ended up in the hands of my sister's affair partner, the very person who had been living in that apartment. He found the money and, of course, squandered it. I couldn't believe it when I heard. It was as if the money had vanished into thin air, only to be wasted on things that were irrelevant. This affair partner of hers that had been told by my sister that she was a wealthy, single woman, it's hard to even imagine the level of deception involved in that. The lie she had been living was so far removed from the truth that it was almost comical, except for the fact that it was rooted in a situation so destructive. What made this whole mess even more complicated was that this man had no real interest in my sister's character or her feelings. He was only interested in what he thought was a golden opportunity. He had been misled, and now he was involved in the chaos she had created. After everything that happened, he came forward and apologized, though it didn't change anything in the end. I suppose in a way it was too little too late. Still, after some back and forth, they reached an agreement on the standard amount for the alimony, just enough to cover the situation, with no grand gestures or any attempt to make things right beyond what was expected. Meanwhile, my sister was left to face the consequences of her actions, something she was ill-prepared for. The reality of it all hit her much harder than I think she had anticipated. It wasn't just about the $20,000, but the entire mess that surrounded her. As if that wasn't enough, it turned out that there had been another affair during her engagement. I couldn't believe it. She was engaged to someone else while all of this was going on. How was that even possible? Apparently, the affair partner during her engagement was a separate issue, something that had somehow remained hidden until now. And so, in addition to the situation she had already created, my sister was now being asked to pay alimony for that as well. It seemed as though her life was nothing but a series of missteps, each one compounding the last, creating an overwhelming mess that she had no idea how to untangle. It wasn't just the affairs, though. That part, while shocking, was almost expected. The way my sister had been living, the way she thought she could get away with anything, her life had been one big string of mistakes, and I couldn't help but think that some part of her believed she could avoid any real consequences. She had a way of interpreting everything around her in the most convenient way possible. It was almost as if she believed that if she twisted things enough, the truth would bend to her will. But that kind of thinking doesn't work forever. Sooner or later, the truth catches up with you, and that's exactly what happened here. The carefree attitude she had carried through life, always choosing what was easiest rather than what was right, had led her down a path she couldn't undo. I had always been frustrated by my sister's behavior. She had such a reckless personality, one that never considered the long-term consequences. There were so many things I wanted to say, so many things I wanted to point out to her, but I knew better than to waste my breath. She wasn't the type to listen. She had a way of brushing off anything that didn't align with her view of the world, interpreting everything in a way that made it all seem like someone else's fault. And now she was finally paying for that mentality, in ways that would haunt her for a long time. The idea that she could just ignore the damage she caused and carry on as if nothing had happened had been her biggest mistake. It had always seemed so easy for her to get away with things, to assume that everything would just work out, but she was wrong. Life doesn't just forgive you for being reckless. You can't keep running away from the consequences no matter how hard you try. Now, my sister was in a far more difficult place than I ever expected. She was working tirelessly at some seedy bar in a run-down part of town, spending her days and nights trying to pay off the debts she had accumulated. She had no time for herself, no space to think, no ability to see any way out. Her life had become a constant grind, a daily struggle to stay afloat in a sea of mistakes she couldn't undo. And I wondered, as I thought about it, if she even realized how far she had fallen. Did she understand what it meant to lose everything? To be left with nothing but the consequences of her own actions? It seemed like she had become numb to it, as though she had already accepted that this was her new life, that she had no way of turning things around. It was painful to think about, and yet I couldn't help but feel a certain level of frustration. Part of me wanted to sympathize with her, to feel sorry for her as she worked herself to exhaustion, day after day, trying to repay the debts she had made. But another part of me couldn't find it in me to offer any sympathy. How could I? How could I feel sorry for someone who had always taken the easy way out, who had always been so careless with her life, only to now face the reality of it all? I understood the difficulty of her situation. No one wanted to be stuck in a place like that. But she had done this to herself. She had made these choices, and now she was paying for them. I didn't want to see my sister suffer, but there was no other way to look at it. Her choices had led her here, and there was no quick fix for the mess she had created. It was hard not to feel angry at her, angry for the way she had handled everything, for the way she had ignored all the signs along the way. It wasn't just the affairs or the lies, it was the way she had treated the people around her, the way she had treated the consequences of her actions as if they didn't matter. But they did. They mattered more than anything, and now she was the one left picking up the pieces. What was even more difficult was that I couldn't offer any real advice to her. She had burned so many bridges, alienated so many people, and now she was living in a world where she had no one left to turn to. The money she had spent, the lies she had told, the people she had hurt, it had all built up to this moment. And there she was, working in a dirty bar, hoping that somehow, through sheer effort, she could pay off everything and get her life back on track. But I didn't see how she could. Life doesn't hand out second chances just because you're sorry. You can't undo what's been done. You can only try to do better moving forward. And that, it seemed, was the hardest lesson of all for my sister to learn. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. Derek, wait, is it true you're getting married? Are you really going to be getting married this soon?
Oh, Billy? Wow, it's been a while.
Come on, don't dodge it. Is it seriously true that you're getting married?
Yeah, it's true. Wait, did you hear it from my mom or something?
Totally, I heard it from your mom. She told me that you came by to introduce your fiancé the day I was out of town. I was on a trip.
Ah, that explains it. I did think it was weird not seeing you around that day.
And she said you're starting to plan the wedding soon, too. Is that also right?
Yeah, kind of. We haven't nailed down the details yet, but we're hoping to do it before the end of the year. Still a lot of planning that needs to go into it on our end and the family's end.
Wow, okay then. Well, in that case, you have to spend at least $100,000 on the wedding, okay?
Wait, what?
$100,000 minimum. Come on, custom-made wedding dress, non-negotiable. At least 5 outfit changes throughout the day. The food, you have to go with the highest tier menu the venue offers. As for the entertainment, make it unforgettable. Hire a professional comedian, or better yet, bring in a full-on performance troupe. And don't even think about skimping on the wedding favors. Oh, and of course you're inviting at least 300 guests.
Whoa, what are you even talking about? You're acting like you're the one I'm marrying. How about you settle down a little bit?
I know that, but this is just the bare minimum of what any woman dreams of, Derek.
Seriously?
Of course, it's common sense. I mean, sure, if the guy's not financially stable, maybe expectations have to be adjusted. But you're working at a major company pulling in a great salary. You've got no excuse not to go all out. You should be reading between the lines and making her dreams come true without her even asking. That's what a good groom does, right?
I don't know. I mean, I thought we had a pretty honest relationship, you know? She tells me what she wants, and I do the same, and she's never mentioned wanting a wedding that extravagant.
Then she's probably just holding back. She's being polite. You know how girls are. We sometimes say what we think is reasonable, even if it's not what we really want.
Is that so?
Definitely. There are some feelings only another woman can understand. So you, as the thoughtful fiancé, should go back and ask her again. Ask her honestly, what kind of wedding does she truly want?
You might be right. We're planning to talk more about everything soon anyway. I guess I can bring it up and double check.
Yes, you should. Don't waste this top-tier advice from your childhood best friend.
All right, I'll ask. Just don't say I didn't warn you if she tells me she's actually fine with a small ceremony.
If she does, it's still your job to give her the wedding she didn't even know she wanted.
Okay, Billy, I've got to head out. Got something lined up after this.
All right then, let's catch up again soon.
Yeah, see you around.
Allie. Hey. Hello? Don't ignore me. I don't care how long it's been. Slow replies are not acceptable. Allie! Oh, hey, Billy. Sorry, I didn't see your message right away. Ugh, you're so slow. Seriously. I had my phone buried in the bottom of my bag. I don't need excuses. Just answer me. Is it true? You're getting married? What? Don't give me that what. I already know, so don't play dumb. Just tell me the truth. Yes or no? Yeah, I am. We're planning to get married by the end of the year. Great. Then you need to tell your fiancé this. The wedding needs to cost at least $100,000. Got it? Wait, what? Why? Don't question me. Just do it because I said so. You're a boring, plain little introvert, so don't you dare go against the queen of introverts, me. That's not fair. And honestly, what does my wedding have to do with you?
Excuse me? You're seriously telling me you're not inviting me to the ceremony?
I never said that. But we're planning a small wedding, just close family and a few good friends.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable?
Yeah, that's right. So here's what you're going to do. The wedding dress has to be custom made. You need a minimum of 5 outfit changes. Go with the highest tier catering available at the venue. The production and decoration need to be absolutely over the top. Hire a celebrity for the entertainment. No cheap favors. Guests should feel like royalty. Invite at least 300 people. And finally, the whole thing needs to cost at least $100,000.
Are you even listening to yourself?
This is what you should say if your fiancé asks what kind of wedding you want. Just memorize it.
I'm sorry, Billy, but that's not happening. We've talked about it. Spending that kind of money on a single day just isn't realistic for us.
Wow, so you're openly defying me now. You've got some nerve.
You still haven't changed, still bossing people around like we're all characters in your little drama.
What did you just say?
I said, I feel sorry for you.
Excuse me? You feel sorry for me?
Yeah. You act like you're above everyone, like people should jump at your every demand. I know I'm not flashy. I know I come from a modest background. But even someone like me found someone who loves me for who I am. He wants to build a life with me, just the two of us, not for show. So please, don't interfere.
Blah, blah, blah. Spare me the fairy tale nonsense. Here's the deal. Either you have the wedding I say you should, or I'll remind you what it was like back then. I'll play with you again, just like the old days. Stop it.
Then do exactly what I said. Go tell your fiancé you insist on the kind of wedding I described. And if you even think about going against me, you know what happens next.
Derek, this is bad. Your bride has canceled the wedding.
Huh?
I was so excited about the wedding I couldn't sleep and arrived at the venue early, but there's a huge commotion because the bride hasn't shown up. I've been trying to call her, but she won't pick up.
I see.
So I went to her apartment to check, and the neighbors said they saw her get into a car with some guy. Apparently it was either her ex-boyfriend or some guy she's been cheating with. It seems like she ran off with him. It's a total mess here. Haven't you heard from the venue yet?
No.
Seriously, you should just dump that cheating woman. Anyway, Derek, I have to tell you something. I have actually had feelings for you this whole time.
What?
I know it's not the right timing to confess like this. It's kind of underhanded, but I can't just leave you like this, all hurt and abandoned, so let me be your bride instead. Let's go ahead and continue with the wedding. I'll take her place as the bride today. Now, since it's settled, let's get things ready. I know the wedding dress is custom made, right? Oh, I can't believe it, but even if it's under these circumstances, I'm marrying the man I've always loved.
Wait a minute.
What?
What are you talking about? The bride canceled, and now you're saying you're taking her place. If this is some kind of prank, you should have thought about the timing.
No, it's not a prank.
The bride is here with me, and we're already having the ceremony in Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yes, Hawaii.
It's not the venue at the Yotube Hotel in St. Louis?
No, we decided on a private ceremony with just close family in Hawaii.
Huh?
We're planning to hold a reception back home in a restaurant once we return.
Wait, hold on a second. What about the $100,000 wedding? What happened to the 300 guests you promised?
Oh, you mean that? After talking with my fiancée, we decided a Hawaii wedding was what she wanted. We found a wedding package that fit within our budget. So here we are now in Hawaii.
No way. Stop with these ridiculous pranks already.
Why?
Because right now I am in a state of shock here because you're okay with still marrying Allie.
What? Allie?
There's no way a wedding could happen like this.
My wedding partner isn't Allie, though.
Huh?
Look, this is the picture of me and my fiancée at the wedding. It's a photo the photographer just took of us.
This person, April?
Yeah, she was our senior back in school, the student council president. We reconnected when we started working at the same place, and that's when we began dating. So, yes, she's my bride.
What, Allie isn't your bride?
Nope.
What?
And wait, why is Allie even mentioned here?
Because, Derek, you were always with Allie back in high school.
What?
I've been waiting for the day you and Allie would break up, and then you go and say you're getting married? I was so upset.
No, Allie and I were just in the same club. I was the president and she was the vice president. We spent a lot of time together because of that. Besides, didn't Allie have a boyfriend in college at that time?
What?
Hold on a second. Now that I think about it, I remember someone mentioning that Allie was planning to get married around the same time as me. No way! Did you do something to Allie?
What? No!
You did something, didn't you? I'm going to contact everyone I can think of about this now. If you have any guilt over what you did, you'd better go tell Allie's family the truth right away.
Derek, please help me.
What is it?
I don't know what to do. I just got served. They're making me pay damages, and I have to cover the cancellation fees for the wedding, too. They're saying I owe $40,000. I can't pay that, Derek. I really can't. What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to pay it.
What?
You brought this on yourself. You charged ahead without checking anything, let your assumptions drive your actions, and look what happened. You thought you knew everything. You didn't even stop to ask anyone. And on top of that, you were planning to hijack the whole wedding from the start, weren't you? You tried to force your fantasy on me and Allie, talking about some $200,000 wedding with 300 guests, pushing your dream onto our lives? Come on, you were never a victim. You're the villain in this whole thing.
But I didn't mean...
Don't give me that. I was in Hawaii, remember? I couldn't be there. I couldn't stop you directly. All I could do was reach out to people once I realized something was off. And you know what I found out? Allie was dragged out of her home early that morning. No one else was home. Everyone had gone out. She was locked in a storage shed until almost noon. She couldn't even scream for help. And you, instead of taking any responsibility, instead of apologizing, you ran. You vanished from the venue like a coward. Allie's wedding day was ruined. She was humiliated, traumatized, treated like garbage, and you were the one who did that to her. So if all you have to do now is pay $40,000, honestly, you're getting off easy.
But I don't have that kind of money. That's an insane amount.
Then I guess you'd better start preparing for the police to get involved.
The police?
Yeah, what you did to Allie, it's not some little mishap. It's serious. You detained her, you physically removed her from her home and locked her up. That's criminal no matter how you want to frame it.
You're blowing this way out of proportion. She's fine now, right? I heard you're planning a second ceremony later, so it's all okay in the end, isn't it?
You seriously don't get it, do you? The fact that you're still using words like blowing it out of proportion tells me everything I need to know.
Derek, please, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just wanted to marry you, that's all.
If that's what you wanted, then you could have just told me, honestly, like a normal person, not this. Not drugging up some fantasy, not sabotaging someone else's wedding to slot yourself in as the bride. And let me make one thing very clear. Even if you'd confessed in some sweet, normal way, there's no universe, not even a twisted, alternate one, where I'd want to be with someone like you.
Derek, please.
No, we're done. I'm cutting you out of my life for good.
What? You can't mean that.
I do mean it, and frankly, after everything that's happened, I have no idea what you might try next. I'm not about to take chances with my wife's safety.
No, wait, please don't do this. Don't shut me out like this.
Don't ever come near me again. Don't call, don't message, don't show up. You're out of my life, permanently.
Derek, please, just talk to me, please.
I didn't hear the full details at first, and when I finally did, it came through the usual channels. My mother. She had a way of knowing everything, somehow connecting the dots even when the story seemed fragmented. But hearing it from her didn't make it any easier to process. In fact, it only made the reality of what had happened more jarring. It was as if the story kept unraveling layer by layer, and with each new piece of information, the picture became darker, more complicated. Billy, as my mother explained, had fought fiercely against paying the $40,000. But it wasn't just a simple refusal. It was a drawn-out battle of resistance, of digging her heels in, trying to avoid what was inevitable. She was trying to evade responsibility at every turn, hoping that if she ignored the problem long enough, it would disappear. She locked herself in her room, withdrew from any meaningful conversation, and just hoped that everything would somehow resolve itself without her having to lift a finger. But things don't work like that. The world doesn't bend to our will, no matter how hard we try to avoid it. And in the end, the reality that Billy had been so desperate to avoid was going to catch up with her, no matter what. It was Billy's parents who finally stepped in. My mother said that they hadn't wanted to. They didn't have the money, and certainly they didn't have the emotional energy to bail their daughter out of yet another mess. But in the end, they couldn't stand by and watch her drown, so they paid the $40,000, every cent of it, so that Billy wouldn't have to face the full extent of her actions. They did it because they were parents, and despite everything that had happened, they loved her. But what did that really mean? Was that love an act of kindness, or a failure to set the hard boundaries Billy needed? In some ways, it felt like enabling. It wasn't just the financial burden, it was the emotional toll of constantly coming to Billy's rescue when she couldn't, or wouldn't, take responsibility for herself. Of course, the payment didn't mark the end of the story, not by a long shot. As my mother explained, Billy couldn't bear the way the neighbors looked at her after that. There were whispers, of course, there always are. People knew that her parents had covered the debt, and Billy couldn't stand the thought of being viewed as someone who couldn't handle her own problems. Her pride couldn't take it. So without a word, Billy packed her things and left, disappearing from our lives once again. It wasn't surprising. Billy had always been someone who would rather run than face the consequences of her actions, no matter how much damage it caused. But it still felt like a betrayal. She had caused so much chaos, so much pain, and then she just vanished as though nothing had ever happened. I guess I should have expected that, but I didn't. I didn't expect her to leave so abruptly, to vanish without a trace. And when she did, I had no idea where she was going or what she was going to do. I could only wonder what kind of life she was hoping to build, or if she was just running from her problems. The truth was, Billy's actions had always been motivated by a desire to escape, to avoid facing things head on. It was the easy way out, the coward's way, and that's what she kept choosing. But what happened next was something I couldn't have predicted. Billy didn't just vanish into some random part of the city. No, she took herself to a place even further removed from everything familiar, an industrial area far away from where she had once lived. Billy had gone to work in a factory. Not just any factory, but a place with a reputation. It was a factory that had long struggled with staffing issues, a place where the working conditions were borderline abusive, the kind of place people went to when they were desperate, when they had no other options left. And Billy, it seemed, was desperate. The factory she found herself in wasn't just any run-of-the-mill workplace. It was one of those blacklist factories, the kind that seemed to attract people in dire situations, those who had nowhere else to turn. The working conditions were dreadful, the hours were long, the pay was pitiful, and the environment was grueling. But that wasn't even the worst part. No, the worst part was the fact that Billy had been hired as a live-in worker. A live-in worker wasn't someone who just worked long shifts and then went home at the end of the day. No, Billy was expected to live in the factory, to be on call at all times. It was a dehumanizing situation. She was effectively a slave to the place, living and breathing the factory's demands day and night. The whole thing felt like a trap, a cycle that would never end. There was no freedom, no space for her to just be a person again. She wasn't allowed any of the basic human dignity that should come with a job. Her entire existence had been reduced to this monotonous, exhausting routine. She worked, she slept, and she woke up to work again. That was her life now. As my mother told me the details, it was hard not to feel a sense of disbelief. Billy had always been someone who took things for granted, someone who never had to truly struggle. She had the luxury of comfort, of choices, and yet she had thrown it all away. Now she was living in a nightmare of her own making, stuck in a system that showed no mercy. She was paying off the debt her parents had covered for her, but it wasn't just the money that she was paying for. It was her own soul in some way. The person she had been, the person she could have been, seemed to have disappeared with each passing day in that factory. My mother told me that Billy was working tirelessly day after day as if her very survival depended on it. And in a way it did. Every penny she earned went toward repaying her parents, trying to make good on the $40,000 that she had been too stubborn to pay on her own. But no matter how hard she worked, it was never going to be enough. The factory wasn't going to offer her a way out. It wasn't going to provide the kind of redemption she seemed to think it would. The more she worked, the further she sank into the quicksand of her own choices. I couldn't help but feel a strange mixture of pity and anger. Pity because Billy had clearly made a huge mistake, and now she was paying the price in the hardest way imaginable. But anger, too, because she had run away from the consequences for so long. She had avoided responsibility at every turn, and now she was living in a nightmare because of it. I wished, part of me desperately wished, that she could wake up and see the bigger picture. That she could realize that this wasn't the way to fix things, that working herself to the bone in some grim factory wasn't going to restore her sense of dignity. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to pay back the money or even the emotional cost of her actions. There was something deeper she needed to confront, something that couldn't be solved by simply throwing herself into work. But at the same time, I wondered if Billy was even capable of seeing that. Was she self-aware enough to recognize the cost of her actions, or was she too far gone, too caught in the web she had spun? I didn't know. I didn't know her anymore, and that's what hurt the most. The Billy I once knew, the one who had been so full of promise, the one who had made decisions without thinking of the consequences, had disappeared long ago. In her place was someone I didn't recognize, someone trapped in her own decisions. I could only hope that eventually Billy would understand. I hoped that she would come to realize that true redemption didn't come from running away or working endlessly to pay off a debt. It came from confronting the truth of what you had done, owning up to it, and making the conscious decision to change. But that wasn't something I could give her. That was something she had to choose for herself. And until that day came, if it ever did, there was nothing I could do but wait and wonder if Billy would ever find her way out of the mess she had made. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.